So this is a bit of an interesting one. Today we're driving my 2002 Lexus IS300. I currently have a GoPro strapped to my forehead. This is actually pretty crazy. I basically wanted to just give a video for you guys to tell y'all what it was like to daily drive this thing, actually own it. You know, you hear a lot of good things about IS300s, but I can tell you there's definitely some cons to it. So I guess I could get into that. I don't really know how to, I don't know how to talk right now. It's kind of interesting. So part of the things that I've noticed with like driving this thing on an everyday basis is the fuel economy is really bad. So I have a catless exhaust, and I'm sure you could definitely hear that, but it causes a lot of it causes this thing to run very rich. So I burn a lot of gas, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like, it's worth it. It's great. It's a great time. But it costs a lot of money in today's modern economy to fill this thing up. It's at least a $50 fill up for this thing. It kind of sucks, but you get your money's worth in miles per gallon, I guess is how they say. You know, I mean, these things are great. I have a blast driving this thing on a day-to-day basis. It handles really well, it's really sharp, but it's just like, it just depends, honestly, on how I'm feeling in the day. There's sometimes I really love driving this car, and there's sometimes I just can't stand to get near this car. But I tell you what, every time I've had thoughts about wanting to get a new car, I'll drive this, and this thing just makes me remember why I like it so much. Whether it be like a good corner or some good acceleration. This thing accelerates pretty good. It gets up to speed rather quickly. And I'm like not talking about like speeding, but I'm talking like speed limit. This thing gets up there pretty good. And it will cruise on the highway at 80 miles an hour, no problem. That's why I tell everybody who hasn't driven one of these, I'm like, if you haven't driven one of these, go for it. You get a lot of rattles in the interior. Occasionally with the exhaust, causes a nice hum. Something rattles and vibrates and touches something back there. But other than that, though, for being a 2002 with 333,000 miles, you heard that right, 333,000 miles, this thing is silent. You get a little bit of a creak from the sunroof, but that's expected as with something that has a sunroof, so that's not bad. I do not have the limited slip differential model IS300s. I have a open diff. So I get a one-wheel peel. And the open diffs have a problem of getting a hum at a certain mileage. And this thing doesn't have that hum yet. So I'm thankful. And I'm really surprised too, because this thing has a lot of miles. I'm glad that Chevy kind of moved on, man. He was on my butt there for a little bit. Get nice tasteful acceleration. The brakes are really good. The pedal has a lot of feel to it. You can really feel where the brakes start to bite. And then if you wanted to shove it into a corner, you can shove it into a corner. Nobody coming? Here we go. It hugs the road really good. I can't remember the brand of tires that I have right off my head, but they're really good street tires. They have good grip. They have a long way to go before they actually start to let go. I've never lost traction in this thing or lost control of this thing because of the tires. I don't really think I've ever lost control of it at all. It's never on purpose, because you push the fun button down here and then traction control goes off. This thing does have a 5-speed automatic, and for the most part, it does a good job of telling the car which gear to be in. It could be worse, is the way I view it. This car's auto does a pretty good job of telling you where, or telling the car which gear, like, hey man, how about we be in third for this, or, I don't know. Sometimes it has its moments where I kind of stomp on it, and the car's like, third, fourth, second, there we go, wah, and it goes. I have a lot of awkward pauses in this video. Sorry about that, fellas. But, I've never done this before. I don't really know what to talk about. Because, nope. Oh, crap. We love blind hills. This is one of the worst things to do in this town because it's blind. Let's just go ahead and scoot back. And you have to pay close attention, or else somebody will come flying up over that hill doing about $120. Let's just get out there. And there's 50. That's pretty good. I mean, it doesn't feel slow. This thing can easily pass people on the highway, no slouch. This thing is not slow. Now, that little pull there was probably about $6 worth of gas. And that sucks. These things burn fuel. And even before I got the exhaust system, man, I knew this thing burned hella gas. This thing burns through a lot of fuel. I just filled up like 2 days ago, 1 day ago maybe. And there we go. I just filled up like 2 days ago, and I've already burned through 1/4 of a tank just on my commute to school and back, which is actually it's where I'm headed right now. We're about to be going through town, about to be in a school zone, as a matter of fact, where it's going to be some heavy traffic for a minute, so it'll give me some time to kind of talk about things, I guess. Yeah, so I finally got a GoPro, and I finally put a SD card in it, so I can actually use said GoPro. And it's pretty great so far. I've thoroughly enjoyed the experience of setting it up and owning it. And this is going to be interesting. This will probably be the most interesting video I've ever made. And I have a lot of people, they ask me like day-to-day basis, and comment sections. They're like, hey dude, well, I'm going to get some POV drives of it. And I also think this would be a good clip for TikTok, because TikTok's fun. 7:30. It is 7:30. I'm actually really tired. I don't know why I chose to make this video in the morning. And this guy is turning. Alright, pal, you can do it. Come on. Town gets so congested in the morning. We're stopped. I could go a different way, but it would take me longer. And they're about to start road construction here, so I kind of don't want to do that. I'm a senior. I'm a genius. I have no off periods, so I don't get any grace at getting to school. I have to get to school on time. TIME, boys. And if I don't, my first period teacher will harm me. I'm just kidding. But I think I am gonna stop up here at the gas station and probably get something to drink. And maybe eat. I don't know yet. It's kind of just like a crazy morning routine with me just talking. I did vlog the other day for like the first time in 2 years. I went to Walmart and I went to get a haircut, and I think I had to go to the bank. I ended up not posting that video because it was just a lot of mindless banter, kind of like what this is, except there's some actual interesting, things going on. The other video was just kind of a bunch of jump cuts. And about me talking about the drive between place to place and not actually like filming any of the drive place to place, because filming on an iPhone I'd have to have one hand off the I'd have to have one hand off the wheel, kind of like I am now, but at least my hand's not occupied with another object, so I can do whatever. Most of this video is probably now going to be me sitting in traffic. Hope y'all like Ford Escapes. There's one in front of us. Look at that neon. Hey. Blue neon. And this car does break a lot of necks, which I guess is kind of what I've built it to do. It's loud. It has a mismatched hood and driver's side fender. A lot of my friends call it Tetris car, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me because it's just two pieces and it's not like a bunch of rainbow colors. Like, I don't really understand how it's Tetris. I don't really think they understand how Tetris works. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I've always called this thing Spider-Man car because it's red and blue. It could be Superman, it could be Spider-Man, it could be whatever. But it's kind of this thing's story. It has a name. It's very original. I named this thing Lexi because, you know, it's a Lexus. And I couldn't think of anything more creative. And there we go. That's kind of this car's whole story. I got this car like 2 years ago. I've driven it off and on until I finally got my license up about July 13th, I think is when I finally got my license. Then we went to Mexico and I couldn't drive for a week. And now we're back, and I had marching band camp, and now I'm tearing up the streets with a vengeance. So, I don't know what the life was like of this car. The previous owner was, well, the kid we got the car from he was a nice guy, but the neighbor who he got the car from, he said that she was a crackhead. So, who knows? When I got the car, there was an interesting smell in the interior, and it kind of sucked. There were a lot of rips in the seats, kind of like there are now. It's really hard to keep these IS300 seats nice without having to, like, retreat the leather. I'm just like, I don't feel like doing all that. So eventually, I'll probably buy a set of nice Corbos for this thing, and it'll just be like that. So far, I haven't seen anybody looking at me funny because I have a camera strapped to my head, so, ooh. Yo, that's sick. That's also sick. It's actually quite cool, those trucks back there. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. There are a few car, like, enthusiasts in my town. There's a guy who rolls around with a silver 350Z. My buddy Zach, it's a really nice Z. He let me drive it once, so it's pretty cool. I wouldn't say it's as fun as this. The 350Z steering was rather light for my taste. I like to have some sort of like feel in the wheel. And I think the nicest car that I've driven, like with the nicest steering that I've liked, is probably BMW 325i. And the steering's rather heavy. It's pretty nicely weighted. Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm going to the gas station. It's really like nicely weighted. It's a nicely balanced car. It hugs the ground really well. And that's what this thing was built to compete with. This thing was built to compete with the 325 and the 3 Series of the time. And do I think it did it? Maybe. I really honestly couldn't tell you. Come on, bus. Always try to let the school buses go first. It's just a rule of thumb in my book. Oops. And we have arrived into the parking lot of the gas station. Hope you guys have enjoyed the drive this far. If not, I'm sorry. Let's see what this Kia Soul's gonna do. I don't know what that Kia Soul's doing. We're just gonna swing right in. Swing it right in. There we go. And we've made it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please give a thumbs up. I will be doing more of these, also like working on this car videos now, because I can be free with my hands and not have to, you know, film anything with my phone. So this has been a great adjustment. So thank you guys so much for watching, and as usual, keep moving forward, and I'll see you around. Take care.